Good afternoon, all. It's Arlene J Ramsey, CEO and founder of Everyone Let's Talk. How you guys doing? Did you enjoy your day? I know. The weather, the rain. That's for those of us who are out here in the tri-state area. I'm here in Newark, New Jersey. Today's topic: you are not a victim. Yes, I had to put that out because too many of us fall into this redundant and monotonous behavior of either getting hurt or doing the hurting. And what we don't realize is that we're both victims. Well, it's already clear, it's evident that those who are being hurt are the victims. But those of you who are actually doing the hurting, you guys are victims as well. I'm not quite sure if you know it, but you always have to concentrate on one-upping somebody, and then you don't take into part, or how can I say, you don't take into account that karma is going to come back to bite you in the neck. So you guys actually have a double jeopardy, if that makes sense. Don't reject information. That is one thing that make us victims. And I don't want to say us because I am not a victim. But do not reject information. I ask, before you allow someone in your life, do you analyze their character? Do you know what they're about? And when you let that person in your life, do you analyze their character? And what I mean by analyzing their character, I'm not saying, what kind of job they have, what kind of car they drive, and, how they talk. I'm saying, do you really, truly get down and peel the layers of that individual that you've allowed into your life? Do you get the truth that you need out of them when you need it from them? Is it like pulling teeth to get the truth out of them? Is it a problem with them respecting you as a person, as a human being, your views? Are they short-tempered? Do they have this extreme air of arrogance? Like, do they think they're entitled for you to do certain things for them? Those are the type of things that you need to really pay attention to before we start crying victim, and before you start crying and saying, this person did that, this person. And please don't get me wrong. It's okay. We all go through it, and we all have to hurt. We all have feelings. We all hurt. But this pattern of consistently being hurt and consistently being a victim is a no-no. Because what you don't realize is that you play a role, or you play your part in being hurt, and you may not know it, or you may know it. The signs are there, but you're overlooking it. So if the signs are there and you're overlooking it, you have to tell yourself that you are a participant in what goes or what went wrong in your life. Dr. Phil had a show on OWN not too long ago where he broke down characteristics in people who come into your life to do wrong. So I'm going to read off some of his listings. All right. He has the evil 8, right? The evil 8 is arrogant entitlement, lack of empathy, no remorse, irresponsible or self-destructive, thrive on drama, brag about outsmarting other people, or even brag about outsmarting you for all that matters. Short-term relationships, look at their history. Do they have a history of having long-term friends? Fantasy world, delusional. Those are people that, sometimes you wonder if they're going too far with their thought process. If you have to tell yourself that that person has to bring it back down to reality a little bit, maybe that person is a bit delusional. No. Then he has another list called baiters. So those are your backstabbers, your abusers, your imposters. We all know what an imposter is. Takers. Those again are the people who think they're entitled, so they just take. Exploiters, reckless, and that's it. Do you know anyone in your life who's like that? Have you come across people who are like that? Take some time to think about it. He also has another list called the Nefarious 15. Ooh. So these are people who infiltrate your life. Okay, and of course you're a participant. You know, they come into your life, and why we say infiltrate, or why he would say infiltrate your life, is because they're going to use some of the information, use what they've gathered, the information they've gathered against you. They will the information they have gathered on you, they will use against you. And you will see it, you'll know it in the things they say, the things they do, where it seems like you can't get a break, you know. And trust me, I'm speaking from experience. I have gone through it. All right. They create conspiratorial confidence. Now that means that the people who they confide in, or the people who, you know, have their back, are people who will not really give you a chance to explain who you are. If you're in a predicament or a situation where you have to explain the problem, it's basically a no-win situation, because they're going to have this person's back regardless. They're not going to care to hear your side of the story, and anything you say is going to be taken out of context, or they're going to say, well, you only told me this part of the story. It's going to be whatever they choose to say, but ultimately and basically they have that person's back, not yours. Depend on approval. Now I've seen that, you know, they may not take up for themselves, but they always push how can I say it? They always push the conversation, or get a person to always big them up. Get a person to always say, you know, yeah, make sure you look out for this person, or make sure you look out for that person. They always seek people who do that for them. So they depend on other people's approval. So it makes them look bigger. Yet for all, they can't really speak up for themselves. They build a file against you. That goes back to what I was saying about creating conspiratorial confidants. They're able to create those confidants because they have built that file against you. Okay. Misdirect and obfuscate communication. That's very important. This is when you communicate with a person or that person, and communication seems to be confusing, or it seems to you're never able to connect. They create a war of attrition, and which means they're talking over you. They're pulling out statements and saying that you said things that you didn't say. And longer you're into this type of communication, further you are away from the truth. And that's their tactic, to get you away from the truth. So anytime you see yourself in situations like that with an individual, and it's regularly, that's a red flag. That means that this person is hiding something, and they want to steer you away from the truth. Okay, the next one, blame other people. You know, they never take the blame for what they've done. It's always someone else's fault. Lie. We know what a lie is. Fraud, cheaters. And it doesn't have to be in relationship. When we say cheaters, they can renege on something. They can never just be upfront. Or if you plan something in advance, and next thing you know, at the last minute, the plan has been changed. They cheated you out of your plan. So if you can never seem to, let's say, things can never seem to go in a way whereas you get to benefit from the relationship as well, you're being cheated. And that person is a fraud. They isolate their victims. So you may feel isolated because it may get to a point, because again, if they create conspiratorial confidants, people who are around you and them will begin to isolate you, because they'll be more on this person's side than they are on your side. Okay? Isolate, ostracize, it's the same thing. Press hot buttons. That's a major thing. You know, they know your hot buttons, and if they're always pressing them, always jabbing at them, and you're always frustrated, it's deliberate. It's deliberate. It's to keep you confused, and it's to have control over you, because they're always fretting you. If you're always vexed, and they know what your hot buttons are,